In this video, we're going to continue our examination on how to solve quadratic equations by factoring. Remember, the first thing we need to do in order to solve, we must set each quadratic equation equal to 0. And so if I look at the first example, I have 4x squared minus 11x equals 3. So it's not equal to 0, so I have to subtract the 3 from both sides, which gives me 4x squared minus 11x minus 3. So now that I have it equal to 0, I can apply my factoring techniques. There's no GCF in all three terms. So I look, there is 3 terms, which means it's a trinomial. Your leading coefficient is 4, so A is not 1. So I'm going to use my AC method. A times C is 4 times negative 3, which is negative 12. So I want factors of negative 12 that add up to give me negative 11. So if I have a negative product, that means one number is positive, one number is negative. And if I have a negative sum, that must mean the larger one is negative. So I have a negative 12, positive 1. That multiplies to give me negative 12. That adds to give me negative 11. So what I do is I split my b term. I split the b into negative 12x plus 1x. And you keep your a term of 4x squared. And you keep your c term of negative 3. And then you factor by grouping. 4x squared minus 12x has a 4x in common. If you factor it out, you get x minus 3. 1x and negative 3 have a positive 1 in common. You factor that out, you get a negative 3. These both have an x minus 3 in common. So you get 4x plus 1 times x minus 3. And so this is the factored form. Remember, once you get the factored form in order to solve, you set each factor equal to 0. So I'm going to set 4x plus 1 equal to 0, subtract 1, and divide by 4. So x is negative 1/4. I'm going to take x minus 3, set it equal to 0, add 3, x is 3. So my final answer is x is negative 1/4, or 3. Remember, those are the solutions. Those are your roots. They're zeros. Graphically, those are your x-intercepts. So if we look at example 10, 7x squared plus 16x equals negative 4. Negative 4 is not 0. So I'm going to have to add 4 to both sides to get it to become 0. So I get 7x squared plus 16x plus 4. Now that it's equal to 0, I can factor. There's no GCF with all 3 terms. It's 3 terms, so it's a trinomial. And A is 7, so A is not 1, which means you use your AC method. So you're going to take A times C, which is 7 times 4, so 28. And you want 2 factors of 28 that add up to give you 16. Let's see, 7 and 4 multiply to give me 28, but those add up to give me 11, so that doesn't work. I can try, 28's even. I can try 14 and 2. 14 and 2 is 28. 14 plus 2 is 16. So I can split my b term into positive 14x and positive 2x. Keep your a term and keep your c term. Now that you have 4 terms, you can factor by grouping. 7x squared and 14x have a 7x in common. Factor that out, you get x plus 2. 2x and 4 have a 2 in common. Factor that out, you get x plus 2. Your 2 parentheses are equal, so you can factor out an x plus 2 from that, and you're left with 7x plus 2. And so this is your factored form, 7x plus 2 times x plus 2. Now to solve, you set each one equal to 0. So 7x plus 2 equals 0, and x plus 2 equals 0. So for the 7x plus 2, you would subtract 2. So 7x equals negative 2. Divide by 7, you get negative 2 sevenths. For x plus 2, you would subtract 2, and you get x equals negative 2. So your final answer is x equals negative 2 sevenths, or negative 2. So the bottom line is, when you are factoring, you want to make sure that your quadratic equation is equal to 0. And then you apply your factoring techniques. And in this video, we continued using our AC method for it. After you get your factored form, you take each factor, set it equal to 0, solve. Those represents your solutions. And we've already seen in the previous videos that graphically, those are your x-intercepts. You can also check your answers by looking at the graph in your calculator.